With there being a lot of discussion and speculation about Season 3 of Ted Lasso being the final season, and potentially putting the show as we know it to bed, this season of the show holds a lot more weight to it when compared to the others. Most probably because we know that it could well be the last time that we see these characters within the capacity that we know them in. This then got me thinking and wondering how Season 3 of the show should end, and I thought it was worth sharing, so let's get into it. Here is how Ted Lasso Season 3 should end. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. It's most probably best to break this video down by the main characters and how each of their individual journeys will end. Ted. Ted's journey is definitely going to be the most important one in the entirety of the show. We've seen that this season has been about conflict in decisions and wondering if the right decisions had been made, such as when we saw him choosing to stay in London to coach the team rather than going back to the States to be with his son. And this is something that has been extremely present throughout the entirety of his storyline, especially with him finding out that Michelle was now dating Dr. Jacob and there being another male figure in his son's life. Ted is quite lonely. Even though he coaches a team and has a team of staff around him, the moment that the day ends, he goes back home and is on his own, something that also weighs on his mind, especially when everybody around him is moving forward with their own lives. So I think we will see Ted make the decision to leave AFC Richmond at the end of the season, because family is the most important thing to him. I also don't think we're going to see AFC Richmond winning the league, but I also don't think we're going to see them get relegated. I believe their best run of form is done in the season, and we're going to see them slowly start to fall down the table again, with some of their best players missing for a few games in the season and Zava also leaving. It's going to impact them hard, because I do feel as though Zava is definitely going to be departing from the club due to thinking that AFC Richmond is beneath him. I think he's going to go to West Ham and he'll be able to get out of his contract at AFC Richmond due to not signing his name on the contract, some kind of legal loophole. This will most likely cause the club to drop down the table, the pressure to be put upon Ted, and that's when I think he's going to crack. And we may even see him leave the team before the end of the season, because his health may not allow him to carry on. We saw glimpses of him on the verge of having a panic attack earlier on in the season, so I think this is something that will definitely happen. With the pressure of the club and also the thought of his family on his mind, it's going to cause his mind to collapse in on itself, and the decision of football or family will need to be made again, and I think that time he'll pick family, hence where I think this clip is from, as he's not in uniform but Coach Beard is. I think by that point Ted and Nate will have reconciled as well, and I think Nate will be back in the good books of the staff and he could potentially step into the role as manager. But I believe Ted will get the happy ending that he deserves in being with his family and having a positive outlook on life. Nate. Nate's journey in this season is going to be the second largest. I think we're going to see Nate leaving West Ham. We saw that he wanted to apologize to Ted in episode 4 of the show, and I believe that this is something that we will see him do. He feels guilty over what occurred at the end of season 2, and it's clearly weighing on his mind. He was acting as if he could keep up a grudge, but it was clear to see that he couldn't. The life that he's leading as West Ham manager with the flashy car and perceived fame is something that is out of his world, and he doesn't know how to handle it. So I think that is something that we will continue to see him battling with and be one of the reasons as to why we could see him leaving West Ham. He's being an individual that he doesn't really want to be, and he's slowly seeing himself adopt the behaviours and attitude that Rupert has, and it's clear to see that he doesn't like that. Nate's relationship with Rupert is going to be something that I feel will get a bit hostile, with Nate noticing Rupert going off with his assistant and cheating on Bex. It was something that clearly shocked him. Nate doesn't have the person and leader to look up to now that he's working for West Ham. Before it was Ted. Ted gave him the validation that a father would, but it seems as though Rupert reminds him of his own father, and it's something that isn't working for him and is impacting his mental state. I think we're going to see Nate leave West Ham because of all of the issues that will be occurring, and we'll see him apologise to AFC Richmond, Ted, and all of the staff for what's occurred at the end of Season 2, and I believe that he will be forgiven. And as mentioned, I feel he's going to be stepping in to fill in Ted's role in a frosty situation in the league, when they potentially need to be saved to stay in the league. Nate is a good manager and tactician, and it's something that I think will be the very thing that saves the club by the end. Rebecca. Rebecca's fate is something that is kind of painted out to us already, with the psychic informing her of different things about what her future could hold. I believe we're going to see her lose the rivalry that she has with Rupert. She's finally going to let him go. As Ted mentioned in the most recent episode, she's already won by being rid of him. And with her holding the ammunition to be able to ruin his relationship, I feel we could see her look out for Bex and inform her that he's cheating on her, as she knows what it's like to go through that. It's clear to see that Rebecca still has feelings for Sam, and I think this will be addressed before the end of the season. Whilst I don't know if they will be together, with the psychic hinting at the fact that she could be having a baby, I think she could potentially be pregnant with Sam's child, and she will become a mother, which will change her outlook on life completely. Roy and Keeley. It's obvious that these two characters are going to end up together. I think Keeley is going to have to battle with her own mind when it comes to being the boss. We've seen her struggle to connect to her employees and also be too friendly to Shandy, so I think we're going to see her grow into her role more and more by the end of it and have to make some tough decisions. Roy is becoming more and more compassionate as the season develops, and I think him working with Jamie is going to be something that brings out the humanity in him. We saw Keeley mention how Jamie had changed since the time that she was with him, and I think the change is something that's going to rub off on Roy, which is what will ultimately make them want to be together again and realize that their relationship is just as important as trying to focus on the work that they were doing. So I think they will end up being successful in their roles, Roy forging a friendship with Jamie, and also being in a relationship with Keeley again. Jamie. Jamie is struggling for the limelight at the club and being able to shine whilst in Zava's shadow, but I don't think that will be a problem for much longer. With Zava leaving the club, I feel we're going to see Jamie become the star number 9 that he wants to be, and Roy's training being something that allows him to reach his full potential. I also think that the story that's been set up with Colin is something that will be delved into more, and we're going to see him have the confidence to be able to come out to his other teammates. I think we will see Trent be a good figure amongst all of this too, and instead of leaking the story, he could help control the narrative so it will be looked upon in a positive light. Season 3 has been an interesting ride so far, and I think there's still so much that's going to happen before we reach the finale. With it potentially being the last time that we see the characters in this form, it's definitely going to be sad when they do move on. But I guess we just have to make the most of the remaining 8 episodes and hope that the happy endings do arrive. So, there you have it, how Ted Lasso Season 3 should end. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. How do you think the show should end? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.